Hi, everybody. It's Michael Fletcher, and welcome to what is the third and final video of the evening. This one is actually for the 13th annual tribute to the troops, as it was from Jacksonville, Florida. Okay, normally, what I would normally do is I would rate the fight, give you a rating, and give you an overall review about the matches and everything else. But because this is tribute to the troops, and I believe that because they were entertaining for the men and women of our armed forces, I am not going to give a rating on anything. I am not going to give a rating on the overall show or on any of the matches because this was for the troops. This was for their viewing pleasure, to say thank you and to wish them happy holidays and a Merry Christmas and, happy Kwanzaa, happy Hanukkah, for all of them, because they sacrificed their lives. They put their blood, their sweat, and their tears to for us to provide a living, a safe home for everybody, and for them, and on the behalf of myself and my fellow colleagues at the Wrestling Forum, Anthony Florio, Derek Ferreira, and Michael Bullock, I feel compelled to not put a rating on this show and just to basically hopefully entertain you and give you guys, the rundown, how the show went. Instead of just talking about the matches and at the length, and just give you how it broke down, the highlights of the matches, and some of the great entertainment that the fans and especially the troops got to witness on this show this evening. So, with that said, we started off with a stirring rendition of the national anthem performed by JoJo. She absolutely did a tremendous job. Now, unfortunately, I am not allowed to show you the national anthem on YouTube, fearing for copyright. However, WWE should have that national anthem performance on their YouTube page, on their WWE YouTube page. I would probably say probably in a few minutes. I mean, matter of minutes, maybe in a couple of hours. Of course, because of the fact I believe the West Coast has not had tribute to the troops just yet. I think they will have it at 8 p.m. Pacific time. I could be wrong. If they have not done it yet, then we'll wait and see. If they have done it, then probably after that they will post it for you great fans out there. Now, we kicked off the show with an in-ring promo. It was done by Roman Reigns, the Uso brothers, and Dean Ambrose. Now, one interesting part was that they did not have their championships along with them, because of the fact, like I said, this was probably taped in advance before all of the of stuff that had happened previously. So you saw no belts on this show on this night. So you knew that this was going to be a little bit of a different show. It was interrupted by the League of Nations, and there was a nice little back and forth between all the members. Now, what happened next was a big brawl breaks out, and it was later interrupted by the Wyatts. The Wyatt family actually showed up. Before they could even get into any type of talking, um, they were interrupted by the Dudley Boys. They brought out Ryback. Then they bring out Kane. The next thing we know, a complete and utter melee breaks out. 16 men going at it, basically tearing the place apart. It was absolute insanity, to say the very least. It was an amazing scene. If you got to see this on TV, folks, this was absolutely unbelievable how this breaks out. And it was later to we announced that there would be a 16-man, 8-on-8 tag team fight. That was our main event of the evening. We will get into that a little bit later on in the show. So next up we had was something that has become very tradition, a tribute to the troops, a boot camp fight. This time around, it was Rusev going one-on-one with the All-American Jack Swagger. The winner of the bout was Jack Swagger, and basically the match was basically they used everything. You saw cots, you saw helmets, foot lockers. There was a lot of military stuff outside of the ring. Basically, it was a back and forth action to say the very least. Lana actually brought an ammunition box, and Rusev used that as an illegal weapon, because in a boot camp fight, there are no disqualifications, no countouts. The only way to win the fight is by pinfall or submission. It took its first commercial break. Once we got back to the action, basically, Rusev was wearing Swagger down with the Foot Locker, and he used a helmet on Swagger only to get a 2 count. Then they used the Foot Locker again, and basically it was kind of a repeat thing. Then at one point, Rusev started waving the flag of Bulgaria. So Swagger got fired up. He basically chased him, basically got him outside of the ring, kicks him to the ground. Swagger gets the crowd to fire back up. He waves the American flag, trying to get the encouragement of the United States back on his side. He does indeed get that. It basically turns into a Swagger comeback, which actually propels them to basically get a moment where Rusev gets hit with a metal case, and that it was wedged in the corner. Rusev actually wedged it in the corner, was going to use it as a weapon. It basically backfires on him. He gets hit with it, gets locked into the Patriot lock, and Rusev taps out to end the match. So right after that, it had a nice little video package where Titus O'Neil and Dave Bautista actually went to a Navy SEAL museum. Then you had messages from some of the celebrities throughout the night. Joe McHale, if you remember from the soup, was one of them, and then there was another message, and this one was from Harrison Ford. As everybody knows, Star Wars: The Force Awakens has broken box office records around the world. Over $300 million US, and I think they said over $750 million worldwide already. And this is in about 1 week span for The Force Awakens. And the record, like they're shattering records left and right, and it's easily becoming one of the biggest movies of all time. They're already predicting big numbers for the upcoming holiday weekend. We will see what happens with that. So the next thing we had was Bo Dallas going one-on-one with Mark Henry. Uh, Mark Henry wins the match in a matter of 45 seconds. Basically, Bo Dallas comes out in a Uncle Sam inspired. Henry just is starting to laugh. He basically is laughing his head off, saying, oh my God, are you kidding me?" The next thing we know, Bo Dallas gets very upset. He basically tries to attack him. He basically gets gets the upper hand on Mark Henry. Then he starts running around the ring, does a victory lap. Well, all you just did was just tick off Mark Henry. World's strongest slam. 1, 2, 3. Fight over. Nothing more to say about that. So next thing we got was another tribute from this time the World Cup champions, United States women's soccer team, thanking the troops for everything that they do. We had a very awesome performance by Train as they actually performed a Christmas song, and then we had some of the actual military members wishing their families a Merry Christmas. Very cool, to say the very least. And then, of course, Wesley Snipes. You guys know him from Blade. You actually know him from many movies he's done in his career, and actually is a part of one of the NBC hottest shows right now. And he basically thanks the troops, showing their love, pays tribute to them. Then we had a promo segment by Kevin Owens, basically wanting to pay tribute to the greatest country in the world, Canada, specifically um, Quebec, and he basically rips on the United States, basically goes on a big rant. Basically praising the Canadian healthcare system, which actually, believe it or not, is free, free healthcare in Canada. Um, and then he basically talked about French Canadians being smarter than average Americans because they can speak more than one language. And he actually drops some French on the crowd, which really upsets the US base. Next thing you know, you get Ryback coming out, and we get a match between these two, Ryback versus Kevin Owens. Basically, Ryback gets the upper hand, utilizing some shoulder blocks, gets a big body slam by Ryback, and he's looking for that breast slam. He basically, Owens escapes, tries to go for a suplex. Ryback counters into a stalling suplex. Owens basically rolls out of the ring. Owens stuns Ryback off the ropes, hits him with a clothesline. Ryback then lays Ryback with a boot, tries to go for a chin lock. Ryback shoulders out of it, goes for a shot, a shoulder block, a spine buster. He meat hooks, looking for the meat hook. Owens basically, and he hits him with it, goes for the shell shock. Kevin Owens rolls out of the ring and is like, you know what? I'm done. Gone. I'm done with this fight. I'm not sticking around. I'm getting the heck out of here. Basically, it's a count out finish for Ryback at 3 minutes and 5 seconds. He wins the match. So the next thing we had was a very cool segment. This was very cool, at least for me. Basically, WWE and their sponsor for the night was Coca-Cola. They partnered and helped a military family attend the event. They go backstage, they meet the WWE superstars and divas. They're celebrating their wedding anniversary. Plus, they get to spend some time with the reigning, defending WWE World Heavyweight Champion Roman Reigns. And it was basically a cool moment, to say the very least. They're a wonderful couple. Happy holidays to them, Merry Christmas, and wish you nothing but the best. Thank you for everything you do, as part of for being a part of this great event. God bless you guys, and glad that you're home safe and sound, and you get to spend the holidays with your wonderful family. So hats off to you, my friend. Then we get a nice message by uh, Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg. Of course, their new movie, Daddy's Home, actually debuts in theaters on Christmas Day. Go out and watch it. There's actually been some pretty decent buzz about the movie, to say the very least. So go out there, watch the movie. Then we get very good, um, a very good comedy routine by Howie Mandel. Of course, if everybody remembers from Bobby's World, he was the voice of Bobby and many of the characters, actually. Then, of course, one other thing that probably some people never really knew, he was actually the character of Gizmo from the Gremlins movies. So he actually did a little bit of that as well. And of course, you know him right now as one of the judges of America's Got Talent. That's normally one of the hottest shows in the summer on NBC. So we had that as well. Then we had a thanking to the troops by Joe Manganiello, and of course the man J.J. Abrams comes out, basically does a video packaging thanking the America's bravest, and showing his love for the troops, wishing them a happy holidays, and it was perfect for them. And of course, J.J. Abrams was the director, or I believe he was the director of Star Wars: The Force Awakens, and a lot of people have been praising his work about how amazing it has been, to say the very least. So the next thing we had was an 8 diva tag team match. It was Paige, Sasha Banks, Naomi, and Tamina versus Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, Brie Bella, and Alicia Fox. And this one really started, it was really um a very decent match, to say the very least. It started off with Naomi and Charlotte. They started to, you know, to start the fight. And then, you get a knee drop by Charlotte. She tags in Brie. Brie starts going all Daniel Bryan, starts kicking. She kicks, utilizes the Daniel Bryan kicks. That gets the movement going. Then the running knee, but Tamina takes her out with a clothesline. Then the heels work over Brie for a little bit. Sasha Banks gets a tag in, gets a 2 count. Paige tags herself in, gets the running knees. That's only for 2. And then you get the hot tag. Then a little bit later on, Brie does get an enziguri on Tamina. On Tamina, Sasha gets the hot tag. She starts going nuts, and then we start getting a whole bunch of chaos that ensues, and it actually ends with Alicia Fox and Sasha Banks. And Sasha Banks, after a couple of counters and a couple of turnarounds, a little bit of some stuff, reversals left and right, then we get the bank statement, the tap out victory at 4 minutes 37 seconds. That ends the bout. So the next thing we get is more clips, more awesome clips where WWE and superstars and divas meet with the troops, been hanging out all week long, different parts of the country, showing their love. Then we get a video package by Toby Keith thanking the troops, a video package by Neil Patrick Harris thanking the troops. Train comes back out to perform, and I think they did Drops of Jupiter, which is one of their biggest songs that they ever had. Then Chris Collinsworth gives a big thank you to the troops as well. And it was basically Chris Collinsworth, the color commentator for Sunday Night Football on NBC. Um, then we get into the main event of the night, which was the 8-man tag team fight, which was Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, and the Usos, the Dudley Boys, Demon Kane, and Ryback versus the 4 members of the League of Nations: Sheamus, Rusev, King Barrett, and Alberto Del Rio, and the Wyatt family. This turned out to be absolute chaos. A tremendous fight, to say the very least, to close the show. It was a solid fight, and the good guys wins it. The faces wins the match, as it was Dean Ambrose getting the dirty deeds on Harper, and they celebrate with basically Kane doing his traditional pose. It set the fireball off the ring post, and the USA flag draped out, being exposed right behind them, and all the faces celebrating with the fans as tribute to the troops comes to a close. So that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I want to say thank you so much for everything that you guys have done. I hope you enjoyed this video. I enjoyed doing this, and I do want to give a special shout out to all of the military, to the United States Army, to the Navy, the Air Force, and the Marines. I want to wish you guys a very Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa. I hope your holidays are tremendous. To all of the people who are actually battling outside, who are in um, military zones from around the world, please be safe. We think about you guys each and every day. Come back home safe. We are thinking about you. We love you guys. Thank you for everything you do to protect me, my family, my boys, my fellow Strictly Sports members, to all of my to all of my super to all of the super fans, to my friends, to the 2184 crew. You guys are true heroes, and for that we appreciate you. We thank you. We love you. Thank you so much for watching this. I will be back on Friday night for another edition of the NFL Football Fridays. Until then, I am Michael Fletcher for the last time tonight. Hugs and pounds. I'm out. Good night. Thank you, and God bless the United States of America.